These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. When it comes to online college, Southern New Hampshire University is so good, it's scary. Listen, the facts don't lie. SNHU has degree programs that fit your goals, online classes that fit your life, and real support at every step. And if that wasn't enough, they've got some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. This is an airtight case, you guys. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to get started. That's snhu.edu/morbid. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid.
It's morbid.
It's just morbid.
It's always going to be morbid.
Yeah, it's an Ash-centric morbid, so that's always fun.
Is.
That's always a fun time.
That's always a fun time. True crime, you know.
It also
rhymes.
feels... Yikes.
Bikes.
Guy. You are a guy. Quite a guy. It's literally my favorite.
Have you seen Never Been Kissed, everybody?
Drew has for the first time ever.
That's a great flick.
Yeah, we watched it last weekend because Drew Barrymore is like one of my favorite actresses, and
There's
watch her
nothing
movies.
not to love about her.
No, I watch her movies all the time. My 2 favorites are Never Been Kissed and Ever After. And
Oh, yeah.
every single time I try to show them to Drew, he falls asleep. And I'm like,
That's wild to
how
me.
do you, I'm like, okay, maybe Ever After because he doesn't like time period things.
I was going to say Ever After I can kind of understand,
Okay,
but
like, get out of my face.
it's like not my fave, but Never Been Kissed is just fun.
Never Been Kissed is so much fun. I still remember the first time I saw Ever After.
I don't remember the first time I saw Ever After.
I saw it with in my friend's playroom one day randomly, and I can like see the room still.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's a good ass movie.
It's a good ass movie.
This also feels like a good time, like now that we're talking about like actresses and like it being Ash centric, to talk about the fact that Britney Spears is writing a fucking tell-all book.
Hell yeah, she is.
I am going to pre-order that book the second the pre-order thing goes out, like within seconds.
Can you imagine what that book is going to... Honestly,
I'm scared.
I was just going to say that book is going to be a very sad book.
Yeah, no, it's going to be heartbreaking.
It's going to be a very heavy very sad book.
It's like years and years and years of just your freedom being stripped away from you.
Yeah.
Everything.
I just read the book Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison.
I need to borrow that.
It's a fascinating book. And I like hesitate even to say, like I do with true crime books, to be like, it's a great book, because it's just about such a horrific topic.
But like wonderfully written.
Fascinating, but holy hell, it is a heavy book.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine, because I've been watching actually it comes up in what we're going to talk about today briefly.
Oh, funny.
But I've been watching Secrets of Playboy.
Oh yeah.
If you guys aren't watching that, it's on A&E. It's so good. It's a little slow to get into, and like if you've read Holly's book, I think the episode that she's on is pretty similar to her book.
Yeah, it is.
But overall, like the deeper and deeper they get into it. I was watching the most recent episode last night, and I was mortified. I was eating dinner and like got sick.
Yeah, it's a really yucky,
It's tragic
situation there. But Holly's book, I highly recommend it, Down the Rabbit Hole, because wow, she really like laid herself bare for that book, and I respect it. But wow. And I think because I got the book because I got into this like weird thing where like to wind down at night.
Yep.
I was, because like there was a point where John was working at night, like down like in his office, so I would just like watch something stupid. And I was watching The Girls Next Door, like old episodes.
Yes.
My God.
I did that last summer. Me and Drew had never watched it.
It's a real time travel moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on there that you're like, oh, okay. Like we're just saying that on TV.
Yeah.
But there was also, I was like, now knowing what I know about this, I'm like, it is so different to watch it now, because you're just oh,
there's a scene where Holly gives Hef like a birthday card, and he starts to read it and she starts sobbing.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it and like thinking that was a cute moment.
Yeah.
And then she actually talks about it. I don't know if she
talks about it in the book.
Does she in the book?
Yeah.
She talked about it on Secrets of Playboy too, and she was like, I was just embarrassed. Like I was mortified that he was reading this card out loud about like our love when he was dating how many other people, and I wanted to be the one person he was dating.
And it's, you watch it now and you're like, wow, this is so sad.
Yeah, and she's like sobbing. You're like, why did I think that was a cute moment?
For real. But I still love Bridget.
And they, oh my God, Bridget. And they signed those contracts like under duress.
Under duress. Yeah. So like there's your little background on Girls Next Door, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how we got into that.
But if we're going to end on anything, like before we start the case, John made me watch Station 11.
Oh yeah. Did you guys finish that?
I did it under like...
Under duress.
Or I'll tell you two things. I did it kind of under duress because he would watch it and I was like, I'm not watching this. It's really depressing. It's about a pandemic and like a world ending.
In a pandemic.
I was like, too real. I need escapist television. Let me tell you, one of the most beautiful television shows I've ever watched. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's intense. So worth it in the end.
That's what I've heard though, that it's like beautifully
and it's
cinematic.
So beautiful to watch. Like the directors and everybody, like cinematographers, everybody who worked on this, I'm like, holy hell.
Yeah.
Like you made one of the most beautifully like put together television shows, and they just seamlessly put timelines together and stuff. It was just like really well done. So I highly recommend it. But just so you know, it's like, it's about a really pandemic, depressing. So it's like pretty real. But the other one that I've just watched with John that I just gotta say, because people have told us to watch this, is Only Murders in the Building. So good.
I need to watch that.
I am eager for season 2.
So many people have been like tweeting at us like, are you guys gonna watch this? Like it's you guys.
And Martin Short are two of my favorite people on earth.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Steve Martin, I grew up watching like Father of the Bride with my mom.
That's Ma's like favorite movie.
And we used to watch it together all the time. So I have like very just fond like fond, like he brings up like a happy feeling in me whenever I see him. And Martin Short, because he was also in it. And
they're like TV dads. Like, you know, like so I said that about like Bob Saget.
Like Danny Tanner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just I'm telling you guys, if you've been on the fence about watching it, it's really funny. It's really easy to watch. They're exactly what you want them to be in it. It's just really good. And I can't wait to watch it. And Selena Gomez is great.
I love Selena Gomez.
She's great in it. So I highly recommend it. And we haven't done we've been doing like a lot of like starting the episodes with like kind of heavy, a lot of the times like child's news lately, I feel like.
It's been a lot of like horrible, depraved news about people hurting children.
So we just kind of figured today we were just going to talk about what we've been watching and some happy stuff and and before we go into the depths.
I was going to say, because then we'll get into the deep, dark depravity of it all.
So that's what, that's what we've been watching. That's what we've been reading.
Yeah.
I'm actually what we're excited about.
Really quick, I'm going to start Euphoria tonight.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, everybody is obsessed with Euphoria.
Yeah, I have literally not one. I'm never going to watch
I
that.
tried to watch it once and I was like, this is something I can't watch alone. Like, I need to be like with somebody when I watch this. Me and Drew texted me yesterday and he was like, do you want to start Euphoria? And
I feel like you'll like it.
I feel like I will love it because I'm a zillennial, unfortunately.
I was going to say, you're right on that cusp.
Sometimes I understand Gen Z and it stresses me out.
See, John caught like a little bit of the first episode or like one of the episodes. Because I think he was up with our youngest at one point and she had fallen asleep on him and he was just trying to like watch something to stay awake. Mm-hmm. And he said he was like, as a father to daughters.
Yeah.
It just horrified me in every way. He's like, I can't watch it. It'll stress me out.
I could understand why like a parent to young children would not want to watch that show and think about like their kids doing the things that these kids are doing.
I think it's just like out of my wheelhouse. It's just not something I'm interested in watching.
I could see that.
Like I
want to watch it for the fashion of it all, for the Zendaya of it all.
I mean, I love Zendaya.
Yeah.
Like,
come on.
Usually I'll just take anything she wants to give me, but this is just not something I want.
Oh, I don't know where my phone is. I was going to look up the other actress's name. She was in White Lotus, too.
Oh.
I think it's Sydney something.
I think it's Sydney.
I forget, but I think she's so dope. So I'm excited to watch that.
She is so dope.
So yeah.
So that's our
spiel.
Our spiel, what we're watching, what we're reading, what we want to read, what we're excited about.
And that's all on like our off time in between watching like horrific documentaries about things like this, because for this case I watched a couple different documentaries and like read a bunch of different articles about this, and I was in like deep diving into this like crazy blog that's written about it. I'm gonna give them credit because it's like an investigative blog and they have
I love those.
So much information. They were actually on one of the shows that I watched for
Good
this.
for them. I love when people go ham into that stuff. Like a lot of times these blogs, you're like, hell yeah. They really do the work.
And they have like a little kind of like PSA thing on there for podcasters. And they were like, please credit us if you use our sources.
Yeah,
and I was like,
of course.
Hello, of course.
That's so, you got it, man.
I mentioned their name later in here, and I'm definitely going to link their blog in the show notes.
For sure.
So today we're going to be doing an old Hollywood case because it feels like it's been a while since I did an old Hollywood case.
It does.
Right? I think the last one I did was Jean Harlow.
Yeah, you're right.
That was a while ago.
Wow, that was.
Your home should show off who you are. Now is the time to boldly write the newest chapter in your home story. And your main character? It's Ashley. Ashley has styles that balance timeless appeal and modern trends to bring your personal look home. Yes, these are well-crafted and affordable pieces with eye-catching design, but they're also built to stand up to real life. With features like stain-resistant performance fabric, options that are incredibly durable, easy to clean, and stain-resistant with machine-washable covers. Plus, Ashley provides fast, reliable, white-glove delivery right to your room of choice, so you can style your space without any stress. Ashley was nice enough to send us a bunch of new pieces for my pod lab at my house, and when I tell you they deliver it to your room of choice, unfortunately they did have to deliver to the attic, but they could not have been nicer about it. I got, or was gifted I should say, the Revion Lake sofa and love seat. It's in this like olive colored velvety fabric. It's so nice. I will say it is so freaking easy to clean because if you know me, you know that I have a white cat and a black cat and then a multicolored cat. The white cat loves to just roll all up on this furniture and leave his hair everywhere, but it's so easy to vacuum. I also got the Meili coffee table. So I have that, like I said, in my attic, but I'm ready to order another one for my living room because this coffee table is so beautiful. It has this like antique old money vibe to it. I absolutely love it. And then finally, I got three actually of the core stone end tables. They have little shelves in them so you can dress them up and, kind of like personalize them to your style. I highly, highly recommend all of the pieces that I got. And I just recommend Ashley in general. It was such an easy process to shop with them and the delivery, all of that from start to finish. It was awesome. Visit your local Ashley store or head to ashley.com to find your style. Getting paid twice a month doesn't mean money is scarce. It just feels that way. That feeling makes you do weird stuff, like putting things on a card you didn't need to. Earnin removes that feeling. With Earnin, you can access up to $150 per day of money you've already earned, plus up to $1,000 between paychecks. Standard transfers take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees, and expedited transfers start at $3.99 and cap at $5.99. 5 million people are already on it, and honestly, it's wild it didn't exist sooner. Download Earnin on the App Store or Google Play, spelled like earning money without the G. Type in Morbid under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Now, this case in particular is unfortunately still considered a cold case, just so you know, getting into it, because I always hate when we get to the end and I'm like, damn it, like,
You're like, sorry.
you know. But it's filled with all kinds of craziness along the way. So this is the story of Christa Helm. Now, I wanted to start this one near like the middle/end of the case to hook, line, and sink ya. So we're going to start like right in the middle and end. And that's when Krista's best friend, Darlene Thorson, got a postcard from Christa. The postcard came right around Christmas time in 1976, but it was not like a happy holidays, this is what my family learned to do this year kind of card. No like joy spread around the world.
No.
Instead, the postcard was written by Christa and it said, quote, "I'm in way over my head here. I'm into something that I can't get out of."
Oh.
And then she went on to say that she might need to get out of Dodge for a little while and for Darlene not to be concerned if she didn't hear from her in a while, but if that Darlene heard something did happen to her, please take care of my daughter, Nicole. That's what Christa said to her. Now, immediately, Darlene thought back to Krista's personal diary and wondered if it was part of the reason why she was in some kind of trouble. But I'm going to leave you there for a minute. We're going to talk about when they grew up.
Okay.
So the two of them had grown up together in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they had always kept diaries that they shared with each other. These diaries were about like different boys that they liked and experience that they had, from dates, like kissing boys, stuff like that. And then as they got older, they got a little more risque.
Of course.
But they would always share their diaries with each other, and they had a rating system of these boys that they would go out with, like a 1 to 10 kind of thing.
Amazing.
Which I'm like, that's pretty genius.
Get it.
But
It's your personal diary. You do what you want.
Yeah, go off. But that was way back when Christa was still Sandra Lynn. She was born to parents Harry and Dolores Woolfield on November 11th, 1949.
Okay.
Now, getting to know Christa while researching this case taught me that she is a true Scorpio all the way through. Scorpios tend to be like extremely passionate and ambitious, and usually they're pretty in tune with their sexuality. And on the other side of all those,
Stop generalizing people, Ash.
I know. I'm just saying like overall. Yeah, but they're like on those. So those are like the good qualities. And then on the other side of that, like those great qualities, they're also known to have a bit of a vindictive side, and they're very ruthless when they're pushed too far.
Not all Scorpios.
Not all Scorpios, duh. Now, all of those adjectives were at one point or another used to describe Christa Helm. Driven, ambitious, vindictive, ruthless. So I was like, wow, you're a Scorpio.
Yeah, there you go.
So from a young age, she was incredibly passionate and ambitious with her eyes set on becoming an actress. She told anybody who would listen, like, I'm going to be a star one day. I'm going to be in movies. You're going to see my face on the big screen. Anybody who would listen. And pretty much like everybody she told was like, yeah, you will be. Like that makes sense for you. Now, Darlene, her best friend, said that Christa was an actress from the day she was born. But as with most tales about rising into stardom and fame, there were roadblocks and hurdles and tough times along the way.
Of course.
One of the major traumas that Christa faced within her life came from her mother, Dolores. So Dolores and Harry had 3 children together, all girls. There was Sandra, who I'm referring to as Christa, because eventually she changes her name. Then Marisa and Candace. So Harry owned and operated an asphalt company, and Dolores stayed home and raised the children. But Dolores and Harry weren't necessarily like cut from the same cloth, and their marriage was not a happy one at all. They actually ended up divorcing right before Christa turned 3, which is really sad, like 3 young kids.
Yeah.
So Harry got remarried to a woman named Nancy, and he had more children with her, but he always stayed a prominent role in his children's life, no matter what. Dolores, on the other hand, started drinking very heavily.
Uh-oh.
And before long, her drinking to cope with her divorce ended up turning into full-blown alcoholism. She was going out meeting all kinds of crazy characters, bringing home shady men, and these men would assault her and her daughters.
Oh, come on.
So she's bringing home these,
the
like,
fuck?
shit bags, and
Yeah.
she's
Putting your kids in danger. That's
traumatizing
nice.
her children.
Yeah,
exactly.
very cool.
So the girls...
Real cool, Dolores.
Yeah, not cool, Dolores. So the girls obviously are telling their dad what's going on because they're terrified.
Yeah.
Their life has just flipped upside down with the divorce, let alone getting abused by all these random men.
Random strangers your mom is bringing home. That's fucked.
So they tell Harry, and Harry's fucking pissed. He
Good.
steps right in, and he gained custody of all 3 of the
Good.
kids. He was like, no way.
Yeah.
So moving in with her dad definitely helped Christa escape the abuse that she was suffering at the hands of her mom's boyfriends. And it did seem to mean that she got a little more freedom than she would have at her mother's, which
Makes sense.
I think, like, sometimes, you know, like, your mom is, like, a little more intense than your dad is
Well,
when
and
it comes to
especially
certain
it's
rules.
like, I'm sure with what they had gone through,
Yeah.
he might have been trying to be like the cool dad, you know,
yeah.
like he's trying to be like the good parent a little bit. I
And
think
then-
that happens a lot in divorce. It's probably hard
Totally.
for them to figure out what the role is supposed to be, I imagine.
And then you have teenage girls and, like, a
Yeah.
dad. Like, he's like, oh, fuck. Like, what
Yeah.
am I doing here, you know?
It's a tough situation. for
Definitely.
sure.
So Christa could pretty much do as she pleased as long as her dad knew where she was and knew that she was safe. Now, when she was about 16 years old, she got a job, not a dob, a job. And she started working at a karate studio in the area, and she was also taking classes. The studio was owned by 26-year-old Gary Clements, who Christa had a pretty big crush on.
Ooh.
But he's 26 and she's 16. Eek. Somehow the two of them began dating, even despite that 10-year age gap and illegality of it all.
I was just gonna say, and the felony of it all.
And the feloniousness
So-
of it all. And before long, Christa became pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. And obviously she had no choice but to tell her dad.
Oh no.
So he told Gary and Christa that the right thing to do was to get married and raise this kid together. It's like a very riding in cars with boys scenario.
Yeah, very
you know?
much.
Yeah.
Very
Oh my
much.
God. You know, I wrote that in my notes and then I didn't even think about the fact that I was just talking about Drew Barrymore.
Look at that. We're connecting everything here.
Full circle, honey.
Full circle moment.
So Gary agreed to get married to Christa, and they were married right around the time that Christa turned 17. So she's 17, pregnant, and getting married. Like, again, her whole life has just flip-flopped.
I was just gonna say, I just think of me at 17, and I'm like, wow, I would have had no business getting married or having a child.
I cannot even imagine.
You certainly would not have.
I like that's a deep dark time in my life, and no.
Yeah, no.
Period. So,
Period.
Period. No period. So they get married. The very next day, Christa wakes up in the honeymoon suite, and Gary's gone.
No.
He's gone. It was like he had vanished into thin air, and there were a lot of rumors surrounding Gary's disappearance. Some people claimed that he had mob ties and that maybe he ended up in like some kind of trouble, so he had to skip town. Or some people said, you know, maybe the mob trouble that he was in caught up with him and he got offed.
Oh.
And then other people said that he died in a motorcycle accident. But I was like,
But where is he?
where's the body?
Yeah.
Or is he just
Where's
made of
the
bones?
motorcycle?
Where is it all? I have no idea.
Wow.
Still to this day, nobody knows what happens
Nobody
to
knows
Gary.
where he went.
Nobody knows. Nobody
Wow, that's
knows.
wild.
I know.
He just poof.
Poof.
Wow.
Which sucks because this 17-year-old girl is pregnant and like thought she
Just
was
got
married,
married.
but now she's not, question mark. And now she's left to deal with this all on her own.
That's horrific.
So the story that Christa went with most of the time when people like asked what happened to Gary was that he was in a motorcycle accident. I
Yeah.
also think it probably took some kind of like, I'm not saying she should have been embarrassed that he left, like of course not.
Oh no, but I would be.
But I'm sure she felt that way.
Yeah, you don't know what. I mean, and you're 17.
Yeah. And now
must
you have
feel
a baby.
completely abandoned here.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
don't want to say like, you know, he stepped out the back, Jack. Like,
Yeah, that's hard to admit.
exactly. So she would tell anybody like who asked that that was what happened. And then when Nicole got a little bit older, that's what Nicole learned.
Okay.
And that's her daughter,
Yeah.
their daughter. So now Christa's 17 years old and a single mother to a newborn. And she still had those big dreams of getting discovered and somehow becoming a star. But for the time being, she had to focus on making ends meet for her daughter, putting food in their mouths. So it was around that time that she started working at an Italian restaurant. And because she was like a really cool social girl, she could really strike up a conversation with anybody. And she became close with a lot of people who worked there, including another girl around her age who also had a young child, and her name was Diane. So Christa and Diane eventually ended up getting an apartment together, and Diane remembered that Christa would invite like literally anybody over to this apartment to have a drink or hang out, or, you know, maybe a little more than that from time to time.
Now she has a newborn, correct?
Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing because I don't know if their children lived with them at this point in time, because eventually they don't live with them.
Okay.
And it's not a situation where like they got taken away or anything. It's a situation of like Christa was trying to get established and set up a kind of like more of a home life.
And does the baby end up with the grandparents or something?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
But I'm unsure if she was still living with Christa at this point in time.
Okay.
It's like not super clear. So I'm hoping the answer is no, because she was having all these people over. But
yeah, and it seems like it's repeating history here.
Definitely. But you don't know. So yeah, she would have a lot of people over, and Diane was a little more hesitant with her approach to dating than Christa was. So she'd be like, you need to be careful. Like, you don't know these people. They could hurt us. You know, they could hurt you.
Yeah.
You don't want people in and out of your life. But she was like, yeah, I also know that Christa loves male attention and she's beautiful, so it's not hard to come by. And Christa's sister, Marisa, said of Christa, I feel like this just like fits perfectly. She was like very, I don't want to say boy crazy, but like she loved male attention.
Okay.
And her sister said that she would walk into a room and that if every head didn't turn around and look at her walk in the room, she would get back up, walk out of the room and do it again the right way. So everybody looked at her. So like, I feel like that just like gives you who she is.
Yeah. Well, and it shows, unfortunately, a lot of insecurity.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of insecurity.
And
You
I
need,
think
like, that much validation from everyone around you.
And I think that's being abandoned by your mother.
I was just gonna
I think
say.
that's being abandoned by your husband the day after you get married.
a lot of trauma.
And I think that's being a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So it was probably that social butterfly and it girl attitude that made Christa's manager at the restaurant invite her and Diane to come out with him to the Lake Geneva Playboy Club Hotel, which, fun fact, was the first Playboy Club hotel.
Hey, look at that.
Now, Diane and Kristen went along thinking not only that it would be a fun outing, but it could also present itself as an opportunity to make connections to the upper echelon type people, because literally like celebrities would be at these clubs.
Yeah.
Like, it was a big deal. So while they were there, someone presented them with a job offer to come back and work as bunnies at the club. Now, at this point in time, it was a big deal to be offered a bunny job without applying, because girls, like, if you're watching The Secrets of Playboy with me right now, girls would literally like throw their applications. Like, they wanted to be bunnies really badly, because back then you made way more money as a bunny than you did as like a secretary or a teacher or something like
you could
that.
get tons of tips. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because I think that's how they lured a lot of these young girls in.
Oh, for sure.
So they get invited to be bunnies, which is crazy. And they set out and they're like, we would rather go to the Chicago club to do this, because you're going to make more money.
And
you're
that's
probably
like the big one.
That's the huge
Yeah.
one. That's the first like real big
Actual
one.
club.
Exactly. So they end up going out to the Chicago club instead of the one at Lake Geneva. And also they just really wanted to get out of Wisconsin because they'd been there their whole lives.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, Diane's mom was going to be watching her daughter while they were out in Chicago working. And I think she agreed to take care of Christa's daughter as well,
Oh, okay.
so long as they came back and helped during their off time.
Yeah.
So 19-year-old Christa went out to make some money and work her way to the top of that social ladder with her friend in tow. It was all so exciting for them, but super short-lived. So they saw where they were going to be living. They went through all their training. They got fitted for their costumes. But then during a trip back home to Wisconsin, Diane's mom told her that she was not going to be able to watch the kids anymore. She was like, this is way too much. I can't do it. I thought I was going to be able to, but like, you need to figure this out on your own.
Yeah.
Which, it sucks for them. Like, I can't imagine like you get this opportunity that you feel is like a huge opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also like, you're a mom first and foremost.
Yeah, it's like you got to figure it out, man.
And it's not your mom's responsibility to take care of
No,
your kid.
technically no.
So Diane was like, okay, no, listen, you need to go out to Chicago and you need to do this. And like, I don't know if she offered to help with Nicole or whatever, but Christa was like, I don't want to go alone. So the whole opportunity just kind of fizzled out right then and there. Never happened.
Eek.
But the travel bug hadn't gotten out of Christa's system that easily. And before long, she found herself with another opportunity to move out to New York City. She wanted to pursue her dream of acting and maybe do some modeling along the way, but obviously she was worried about bringing Nicole along with her. Now, this is where I say I'm not exactly sure who Nicole was left with, because anything that I've read for this case refers to the woman as a nanny who lived in Vermont.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it was like a family friend or something like that.
Yeah, just somebody was taking care of her.
Some sources say she was left with her grandmother, but I'm assuming that probably not, because they didn't live with their mother.
Yeah.
So it's a bit confusing, but I'm just going to assume it's a family friend.
Yeah.
So Christa drops Nicole off with the nanny because she wanted to wait until she was established enough and had a stable environment for Nicole to live in. And the plan always was that when Nicole turned 10, she would go and live with her mom wherever that may be. So Nicole clung tightly onto that plan. And her nanny seemed to be like a really tough woman who she said was not.
The Sherwin-Williams summer sale is here. Get 30% off select paints and stains or 35% off their newest product, Emerald Symmetry, July 17th through the 27th. Whether you're looking to refresh your interior or your exterior, they've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you, so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Always nice to her. As an adult, she remembered that anytime she would cry, the nanny would literally say, "I'll give you something to cry about."
Oh, that's really sad.
And so,
just the fact that, like, she didn't get to be with her mom.
no,
And
it's like she's abandoned in a way, you know?
and like 10 years old is like really old to suddenly be thrown into a different environment. It's like, that's tough.
Yeah,
It was a tough situation.
It was going to be tough for
I
sure.
feel bad for Nicole.
I do too. And she was like the cutest little girl, and she just seems like the sweetest woman. She was in a bunch of the documentaries that I watched, and she loves her mom like beyond.
Oh, that hurts.
Because of that, she would always fantasize about the day that she turned 10 and how she would be so far removed from this woman she was living in now and this lifestyle she had to deal with. And she would visit Christa quite frequently, and frequently enough to know that she hadn't just been abandoned as some kind of afterthought.
Okay.
And she said of her mom, "When I was with her, she made me feel so important. The moments that I had with her really strengthened the belief that, you know, she didn't just throw me away. She really was just waiting until I was 10, until she felt safe."
Oh, that, like,
So I can see both
that
sides of
sucks.
that.
Yeah.
You know, because I can understand why Christa doesn't want to bring her daughter to New York City when she doesn't necessarily have a place to live or an established job.
Or like
But
a
I
safe
can-
environment.
Or a safe
you know?
environment. But I can also see, like, you know, like,
Like, that sucks.
you got to figure that out
The whole-
first, and then you bring her, you know?
Like, the whole situation is just a tough situation.
is.
I really do just feel bad for Nicole.
I feel-
like,
yeah.
I want to like hug her. and
I
just
do
be like-
too.
but I'm glad that when she was with Christa, that she felt like she was the most important thing.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I think the fact that she's saying she didn't feel like she was abandoned or thrown away is good.
And that speaks a lot
I hope
for Christa, I think.
Yeah, and I hope that really is how she feels, that she wasn't just thrown away. Because
Right.
I would hate to think of a little kid thinking they were just a throwaway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I think the fact that she got to visit her mom so much, and like you just said that Christa made her feel so important when she was there, I think that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And like Nicole, the way that she talks about her mom, like they just have this kind of bond that
Yeah.
I think nobody would even understand other than the two of them.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation.
It is.
For sure.
So while Nicole counted down the days until her 10th birthday and coped with her situation, Christa was out making connections in the Big Apple that really would lead to some sense of stardom. Now, one of the first people she met out there was a costume designer, Lenny Barron. He was a very famous costume designer, really. He worked with Judy Garland.
Oh, no big deal.
Casual. He would also eventually design some of the costumes for Wonder Woman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a big deal. And he just looks like a freaking hot ticket. I'll post a picture. He was like a really well-connected guy. He ran in some of the more elite social circles, so he really was a good connection for Christa to make. Now, the two of them hit it off pretty much right away, and Linny became Christa's in to different parties and events, and he also served as her personal stylist most of the time.
Nice.
Christa began modeling for his agency too, which was called Oddities, and she was making pretty good money at the time. She charged $60 an hour for the different modeling jobs that she did.
All right.
Now, pretty much immediately when she stepped foot in New York, Christa like somehow just adopted this life of glam. Like, it was like she stepped on the scene and everything kind of just fell into place. She was always wearing beautiful furs and different jewels, and before long, she would be living in a beautiful brownstone townhouse, which is a big deal to live in, like, a townhouse in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Now, many people attribute this to a potential sugar daddy of sorts, Stuart Duncan. Now, Stuart Duncan was a big Broadway producer when Linny introduced him to Christina, and he was also the heir to a pretty big family fortune. His family owned Lee and Perrins, who was behind the distribution of Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Which is funny because you and I were just like randomly talking about Worcestershire sauce this morning.
I was talking about making hamburgers, and I was like, Worcestershire sauce, it's the best.
And I was
you were
like, that's
whoa.
going to come back later.
I was wondering how that was going to come into this at some point.
Full circle.
Weird.
Crazy. So yeah, Stuart gets connected to Christa. He's got all this money from Worcestershire sauce, or he would, but he didn't really care too much about carrying on the Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
He didn't care too much about like continuing with that. He really wanted to make things like and create and go to Broadway shows. So yeah, when he met Christa, he was super struck by how beautiful she was, because she was gorgeous. She was
really
super tall. She had like dirty blonde, like almost like blonde hair.
Yeah.
Like brown blonde if you're a stylist.
Blonde.
Just gorgeous. And her bone structure, I'm like, I want to look like you.
Her skull was to die for.
Her skull was great. And Stuart thought so too. And he was like, I feel like you would be perfect for this movie that I'm working on. And this is the first time that his work would make it to the big screen. He was working on his first film called Let's Go for Broke. Now, it was a movie surrounding an investigative journalist named Jackie Broke, which I just love. She gets kidnapped while investigating the villain of the movie, but she's kind of like a James Bond character, and she fights all the bad guys along the way, and of course she saves the day.
That's amazing.
Spoiler alert. When Stuart met Christa, he knew that he had his Jackie, and she was immediately hired for the film. Now, the budget for the film started off at $700,000, but throughout production, it went to well over $1 million.
Oh, damn.
And a lot of people felt like that was like Christa's doing. Also, some of the movie was filmed in Haiti, so like they had to fly down there, they had to stay. Yeah. That's expensive. And Christa was said to have been like a little bit of a prima donna on set. She had her own hair and makeup team. She brought her own like wardrobe. It was a big deal.
It was a big deal,
But she was excited, Yeah. And I think the cutest thing of this all is that her dad actually played an extra in the film.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
I'm like, oh my God, Dad makes an appearance again.
I love that. Dad makes an appearance.
I love it. Now, so it seems like a cute movie. It almost had like an I Dream of Jeannie feel when I was looking at the little stills.
Oh, that's cool.
But it didn't really do incredibly well. It only lasted in theaters for about 2 weeks before it got pulled.
I was going to say, I don't, it's not one that you think of when you think of like great, old movies.
No,
but
definitely not.
I've never seen it.
Me either. I don't even know how you can, to be honest.
I was going to say, can we?
Maybe on YouTube, ?
Yeah.
But it wasn't going to be the first or last project that it was the first project. So it wasn't going to be the last project that Christa worked on, or would at least be connected to. She also did a horror film, Legacy of Satan.
Yes.
In which she dies ironically similar to how she died in real life.
Oh, that's horrible.
And most of it was actually filmed in her apartment in New York, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. You can see some stills from that. Now, Stuart offered her stock also in his Broadway play, Godspell, which did incredibly well. And by the time Godspell wrapped, Christa was a pretty well-established New York socialite. So that kind of explained where the furs were coming from, where the jewels were coming from, yada, yada, yada. And there were also rumors that she would call like gossip columns on herself to tell them where she was going to be with certain people.
So she was ahead of the time of doing that.
She was like, hello, Daily Mail.
She was Kardashianing.
Yes,
that was hard to say.
I go, yes, a verb.
Yes.
But she was with these like super well-connected people, Mick Jagger, Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, the Shah of Iran.
Oh, okay.
Was rumored to have been with her. So she's calling these gossip columns, but she is providing
Yeah,
the tea.
apparently.
So she just wanted to stay in the spotlight and make sure her name was being spoken around town in relation to these people. Whatever she was doing, it was working. She was named Cosmo's Bachelorette of the Month in around 1973. She decided it's time to get out to Hollywood, especially now that I have these connections that I do.
Yeah.
So moving out to Hollywood was a pivotal move in Christa's career. I'm not going to say it was like the best thing for her career at all.
No.
She got a couple more roles. None of them were starring, but they were on pretty big shows like Wonder Woman and Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch.
Thank you. Starsky and Hutch. She is in the Beauty on Parade episode of Wonder Woman and the Silence episode of Starsky and Hutch.
Wow.
Yeah, just so you know if you want to
There
go
you
watch
go.
those.
Check it out.
Now, she met even more fabulous celebrities. George Hamilton was one of them. And she had a fair amount of sexual encounters with a lot of these men. Mm-hmm. That's where her diary comes back into play.
Aha.
Because I mentioned in the beginning that sometime around Christmas 1976, Christa's friend Darlene got that postcard. Christa's in and over her head. She knows too much about something, it seems. And Darlene's first thought is the diary. Now, that's because any man or woman that Christa slept with was named in that diary, supposedly with a rating next to their name based on how good or bad their interaction had been, and a very detailed account of said interaction.
Wow.
Now we're talking like sexual interactions.
Yeah.
So Christa also didn't keep this diary a secret from really anyone in her life. Like all of her friends knew about its existence, and people over the years have come up with various explanations for the reason why Christa kept the diary. Some people said that she was talking about doing kind of a tell-all book.
I wondered that. I was
Yeah.
going to ask if like someday she saw herself being able to just unleash this into a book.
Which, come the fuck on, would I read that?
Who wouldn't?
The tea inside of that book.
You don't want it. Nobody wants to admit that I want that book.
I want that book, and I'll
Like,
be
I
the
will
first
read
to
that
admit it.
book.
I would like it literally be soaking wet with tea.
I feel like that makes sense.
People-
especially because she saw herself becoming a star.
Yes, of course.
And that's like one of those things that
Yeah.
people go nuts for that.
Oh, yeah.
When like she got like older. I'm sure she saw herself as like an older woman all of a sudden
Oh, yeah.
releasing all this, so it wouldn't really like
doesn't really affect her
it
too
won't
much.
hurt anybody as much.
Exactly. And so some people said like she did talk about writing a book, but then other people thought maybe this diary was going to be used to blackmail certain people
Okay.
that were featured in it, which is why it's pretty much always accredited with having something to do with Christa's death.
I mean, no matter what the reason for it was, no matter what, that was going to be blackmail.
Oh,
even if that
100%.
wasn't her intent, it was. I mean, that's a very big thing to have in your possession, and
With
to
all
be-
these big names.
And I'm a little surprised that she was so open about it. I feel like that's something like you keep on the hush hush,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
tell anybody, and then when you get super old, you just go and maybe like don't release all the names and stuff.
exactly.
I feel like it's
change
like
names, you know.
yeah. I feel like letting everybody know about it was like a really
A misstep.
that was scary.
And her friends.
Like I'm scared for her, and I know what happened.
So you're not alone because her friends felt that way too. Like
Yeah.
Darlene literally said to her, "You're playing with fire, and you should light that book on fire."
Yeah.
like you should not have that.
Because,
in
like
your
I
personal
said, even if
possession.
that's not your intention to blackmail anyone maliciously,
right,
that's blackmail.
It
No
is.
matter what. It's like, even if they just don't know if you're ever going to use it, even if you have no intent to,
exactly.
it's still there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she would literally like pull it out right after she wrapped up with whoever she was with and start writing. Like there were men who dated her and literally said like she pulled out a book and started writing, and I was like, "What are you writing?"
Oof.
And she was
That's
honest
tough.
about it.
Yeah.
She's honest. So
She's very honest.
on the night of February 11th, 1977, Christa went to a party with her roommate named Stephanie Warshaw, and this party was out in Laurel Canyon. It's unclear who threw the party and what exactly happened there, but a few things are for sure. While she was there, Christa called her agent, Sandy Smith, a few times, trying to see if he would come to the party and join them. But he told her that he wasn't feeling up to it. He was super tired. And he said he was going to be heading to bed soon. Let's be real. I think we can all probably up our fruit and veggie game. Did you know? I think you're supposed to have like 5 cups of vegetables and fruits per day. That's kind of difficult. This year, I want to change the fact that I'm not always getting my fruits and vegetables in, and that's why I'm keeping my freezer stocked with Daily Harvest. It makes it so easy. Daily Harvest is the easiest way to get more fruits and vegetables into my day every day. They have my back with delicious food that's good for me and good for the planet. Daily Harvest delivers delicious harvest bowls, flatbreads, smoothies, and more, all built on organic fruits and vegetables, right to your door, and it conveniently stays fresh in your freezer. I truly wish I could show you a picture of my freezer. Well, I could, but not like in this ad, you know what I mean. It is stocked with Daily Harvest. I have Daily Harvest for morning, evening, night, a snack, all the time. I love the broccoli and cheese harvest bowl. I love the lentil and bolognese harvest bowl. Oh my God, so good. And it literally takes minutes to prepare and never uses preservatives, added sugar, or anything artificial. And that goes for everything. They have so many delicious options for every time of the day. Like I was just saying, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, a snack, they have you covered. Personally, I absolutely love the kale and sweet potato flatbread. I cook mine up in the oven, obviously, and then I drizzle a little bit of balsamic reduction on it, and I put a tiny little bit of Parmesan cheese, and it is so good, but honestly, it's good without those little extras too. Daily Harvest is all about preserving and protecting the earth for current and future generations to come. From their recyclable and compostable packaging to investing in organic farming practices and reducing food waste, you can feel good about the choices that you're making physically and for the environment. Go to dailyharvest.com/morbid to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/morbid for up to $40 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/morbid. Now, Stephanie, looking back, thinks that something might have happened at that party that freaked Christa out, because she told the writers of that blog that I was talking about in the beginning, the super investigative blog, it's whokilledchristahelm.com.
Okay, cool.
And I'm going to plug that in the show notes too.
Perfect.
But so she told the writers of this blog that at some point during the party, quote, Christa approached me with a funny, cloudy look on her face. I asked her what was wrong, and she told me it was nothing, but I could tell that something had shaken her. I'll never forget that look.
Ooh.
So something happened at that party that freaked her out. Now, looking back, that must be such a haunting memory for Stephanie, but at the time, she had plans to go away with her boyfriend for the weekend. So she left the party with her boyfriend before Christa, but she was letting Christa use her car for the weekend. So she left Christa with the keys and told her she'd see her back at home at the end of the weekend, but unfortunately, she would never see Christa alive again. Because Christa headed out to West Hollywood to Sandy Smith's house at 9020 Lloyd Place, but never made it inside. Her body was discovered at about 1:30 in the morning by a man named Thurman Brooms. She was lying face down in a pool of her own blood, and she had been stabbed to death. And she was tucked like a little bit under a car. Thurman said that when he walked up, he saw Christa lying there, and that he was there when she took her last breath. Yes, he tried to get help at Sandy's house, where he was actually heading before finding Christa in the way that she was. But when he knocked on the door at Sandy's, there was no answer. So he sped over to the nearest police station and reported what had happened. Now, the investigators step on the scene and they immediately start taking notes. Christa had been stabbed 23 times.
My God, that's anger.
And was beaten with the blunt end of an object, which they believe to probably be the handle of the knife.
Oh my God.
Most of the wounds were to her chest, face, and head, and then some of them were to the back as well. One of the stabs went directly into the side of her head.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And to do it to her face, I feel like that's a very...
That's what I thought.
Specific thing to do.
So personal.
Yeah.
So personal.
And very on purpose.
She also suffered countless defensive wounds because, remember, she trained in karate.
She's fighting back here.
She was absolutely fighting back. So to the investigators, this looked like a crime of passion because of the overkill involved. There was serious overkill here. And the fact that Christa was so close to a house she knew, they instantly felt like she must have known her attacker.
Yeah.
Based on those two things. The main problem, though, was that there weren't really many eyewitnesses to this because people heard noises, but they hadn't seen like the actual attack take place.
Yeah, and people always say that they hear noises, and it's like, did you hear these noises, or did you hear just regular city noise?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, somebody actually heard like some real shit, because John Grease, whose father Tom Grease actually directed Helter Skelter.
Oh, no big deal.
Yeah, just casual.
Yeah.
He heard what was going on.
Oh.
And he was like, he said it sounded like there was a cat being skinned alive outside. Like, that's how he compared this.
Oh, that's horrific.
Absolutely horrific. Like, you're just laying inside, like probably about to go to sleep, and you hear what you think is a cat being skinned alive. Oh, okay. Also,
because even
have you heard that?
I was just gonna say, even if it is a cat being skinned alive, holy hell.
Yeah, like what?
What?
Why?
But you couldn't be thinking it's a person.
No, not at all. So he was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on out there, but he grabbed his dad's gun and he walked outside. But then when he made it out there, he didn't hear anything. Like, he didn't hear any more screaming or anything. He did a look around and he didn't see anything. The detectives ended up telling him that if he walked out onto the street just a little bit further, he would have seen Christa and may have even seen the person who attacked her and murdered her fleeing the scene. Like,
wow. It's
I would
like,
also be
why
like-
even tell him?
I was literally just going to say, like, I wouldn't need to know that, because I feel
No.
like you already would have, like, some kind of guilt that you would put on yourself.
Of course, because you were close to it. So you're
Right.
like, why didn't I take it seriously sooner? Why wasn't I outside? Like, you're going to think of every kind of like,
course.
why did I do this? Why didn't I do this?
And
What
they're
if
like,
I did this?
yeah, why didn't you?
And they're like, yeah, bro, if you had come out a little bit before this, you would have cracked this case wide open, but you didn't.
oh.
It's
He's
like, why?
awesome.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, so that sucked.
That's awesome.
And then in talking to more people in the neighborhood, detectives wondered if there might have been more than one person responsible for this, because multiple people reported that it actually sounded like two women were outside and a man was there too. So it sounded like two women's voices and a man's voice talking loudly before any screaming began. So obviously
Okay.
we can assume that one of those women was Christa. Who's the other woman? Who's the man with them?
Who are they?
Because she rolled up alone, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. So Larry Gansey was the lead detective originally assigned to the case in 1977, and he had a gut feeling that Christa's murder was linked to another murder that had taken place on the exact same street and on the exact same day, just 1 year earlier.
Whoa.
Yes. Sal Mineo was a famous actor in the 70s. I think he was most famous for his role in Rebel Without a Cause.
With James Dean.
I was just going to say alongside James Dean. But he had been stabbed to death just outside of his home in the same neighborhood where Christa was killed.
Huh.
On the same day, just 1 year earlier.
That's
So
a weird coincidence.
Now, it actually took the police 2 years to find the person who killed Sal. So when Christa was murdered, the person who murdered Sal wasn't in jail yet.
Oh.
Or in prison yet, excuse me. So it took them 2 years to catch them. And when they did try and convict him, they believed that this person was actually in prison the night that Christa was killed.
Oh.
Now, the man who killed Sal was Lionel Williams, and the motive for Sal's murder seemed to be robbery. So Lionel Williams pled guilty to about 10 other robberies when pleading guilty to Sal's murder. And while Christa's purse was missing from the scene, the detectives didn't necessarily think that was the motive for killing her, like robbery.
At least not a main thing.
Not a main thing. And then they especially felt that way once they heard about her diary and the fact that she kept it on her at all times.
Oh.
So they were like, taking that purse was probably to get that diary.
For sure.
Exactly. So they were like, the fact that her purse is missing and her diary was inside makes us feel like whoever did kill Christa did so to shut her up.
Yeah.
And funny enough, that diary never saw the light of day again.
Oh.
We don't know. Nobody knows where that diary is.
Come on.
Yeah. So when the connection to Sal's murder turned out to be no connection at all, Larry and his team of investigators basically hit a dead end. They talked to and interviewed multiple people over the years, but nothing led anywhere, and Christa's case just ended up going cold.
Man.
It was like there was nothing. Nobody had seen anything. The only thing that people had really heard was like screaming. Some people thought they heard two women's voices. Some people said no, it was like just this voice. There was nothing.
Which is wild because it's like outside.
Right.
In a populated area
In
where
a
like people
neighborhood.
could hear this stuff. It's like, a very brazen attack as far as I'm concerned, and a very
Absolutely.
intense attack that probably lasted
At
more
least
than
a
few
while.
minutes.
Stabbed 23 times
Yeah.
and beaten with a blunt object.
A lot of screaming, a lot of like, it's messy, it's chaotic.
Right.
And nothing comes out. They didn't leave anything behind.
They
That's
didn't leave anything.
crazy.
And you're not going to hear like tires peeling out.
Yeah,
Nobody's
just
going to get like a
anything.
vehicle description.
No one saw anybody leave that area. It's just like wild when that happens.
It's so strange. So Christa's daughter Nicole was the one who actually brought the case back to life, and it took until 2006.
Wow.
She said because she obviously grew up and had her own children.
Yeah.
And she said looking at her own children, she just needed to know what happened to her mother.
Of course.
So when Christa had been killed back in 1977, Nicole was 9 years old.
Oh,
And
she was 1 year away.
Exactly. She was living with that nanny that her mom left her in the care of.
Ugh.
And Nicole's nanny told her that her mother had been killed in a car accident. And she really didn't give her any more information other than that, but sent her to school the next day. After finding out that her mother was killed, was like, yep, off to school you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
This
And
lady's something else.
at school, some of the other kids had probably heard their parents talking about what happened to Christa. And so it got back to Nicole that her mother did not die in a car accident, but that she was murdered
At 9 years old.
at 9 years old.
To hear that from classmates, too.
And all she wanted, she literally said that she just crumbled at that point because I think she said she was 6 months away from turning 10.
Oh, my God.
And she thought, I'm going to go live with my mom. I'm going to have this beautiful life. She also said that her mom had recently told her she was going to be leaving Hollywood. Oh. Which is interesting. Why would she want to leave Hollywood?
Was there threats?
And there must have been, because you think about
That
the postcard,
party.
you think about the party, you think about the fact that she's telling Nicole she's leaving Hollywood.
Yeah, something was
going
going on. Something was in the works, I think, and she just didn't get out in time.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Maybe she was making plans to get out, too, and maybe some people found that out and were like, we gotta take care of this now.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awful.
So over the years, Nicole's grieving the loss of her mother, and she just wants answers.
Yeah.
So she keeps calling the LAPD, keeps calling them. Are there any updates? Is there any new information? Are there any detectives? I don't know why I just said detectives.
Any detectives?
Are there any detectives willing to reinvestigate this case? She was bugging them. And in 2006, 2 detectives were ready to give it a go.
Hell yeah, they were.
They were ready.
They were ready.
Detective Brandenburg and Detective Harris with the cold case unit. And they got to work right away reviewing old reports and trying to track down really just anybody related to this case so that they could refresh their memories and hopefully end up with some new information.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Something.
So looking over the reports and the crime scene photos, one thing struck them in particular. Christa had been driving her roommate Stephanie's car that night. They actually found the keys tucked underneath her body.
Oh.
So she was driving Stephanie's car that night, and the way that she parked the car seemed maybe like it was done in somewhat of a hurry, because the front right passenger side tire was parked over the curb.
Oh.
So they took note of that, and they wondered, maybe was somebody following Christa that night?
I was just going to say that.
And because she was aware of it, she was afraid. Maybe she parked in a hurry and just
to try to run in.
to the car, or run to the house, excuse me. Now, they also believed that she was attacked from behind because, for one thing, she had karate training. She was very well trained and would have been more likely to fight off her attacker had she been confronted straight on.
And you said there was stabs to her back,
to the
too.
back. Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Exactly. So in the original reports, they saw that Sandy Smith was named quite a bit. Now, he was the one who she was calling that night. He was the one who she was murdered basically right in front of his house, and her body was somewhat tucked underneath his girlfriend's car.
Okay.
So Sandy had been interviewed by the police in the original investigation, since it seemed like Christa was making her way into his house. But when he got asked if he heard anything weird that night, he told the detectives that he was sound asleep and didn't hear a thing.
Huh.
So she's super duper close to your house. And then there's another guy who's pretty close and says that he thought he heard a cat getting skinned alive and runs outside. You were a very deep sleeper. I'll leave that there.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm a pretty deep sleeper, but
a little
sound
weird.
like that.
A little weird.
A little I wake up
considering-
when the power goes off.
Yeah, and it's in just the fact that somebody who wasn't right there heard
Right.
a cat being skinned alive, which you can, in your head, are probably
It, like, makes me wanna
hearing
cry.
the sound.
Oh, no, I'm not.
That's a
I'm not
very
hearing it.
harrowing, intense sound.
You, like, scream, like, screech.
To describe something like that means it is loud, it is long, and it's scary. And this
Absolutely.
guy's like, it was right in front of my house and I didn't hear a thing.
Yeah. The other weird thing about it was that he was well known to have parties most evenings well into the night. And on that particular night, there had been a few people coming and going from Sandy's house. Thurman Brooms, who was the one to discover Christa's body, was going to Sandy's house.
And it's like, you were asleep, bro?
He was going to his house and then he knocked on the door and he didn't get an answer. So we can't assume that he was asleep, but it's like, why were multiple people heading to your house if you were asleep? That's
Yeah.
weird. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
And it's like, just to like kind of further question this, it's like, if he went to the house, knocked on the door, and nobody was there, and we're like, all right, maybe he was asleep. Or maybe he knew what happened and didn't
was
want to
like,
answer
"Keep
the
me
door
out of it."
because I don't know who that is.
Well, you know what sucks?
I'm not saying.
The new detectives were never able to track him down.
Really?
Couldn't track him down.
Where are all these people fucking going? There's so many people just vanishing into thin air in this case. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, girl, we're only at the beginning of vanishings.
Wow.
Crazy. So the next person to track down was Tony Sirico. If that name sounds familiar, you have probably seen The Sopranos, and maybe you are a fan of Polly Walnuts.
There you go.
I haven't seen The Sopranos, so that's not me.
My parents loved The Sopranos.
Yeah, I don't know how they felt about Polly.
Used to be my dad's ringtone was the theme
Up
song.
this morning and got myself a gun. I don't
It's
even know if
awesome.
that's like the right tune.
I think it is.
I think so.
Did
we just harmonize?
I think we did.
So before that role on The Sopranos, Tony wasn't necessarily the greatest guy.
No.
Because between the 50s and 60s, he was arrested close to 30 times
That's a
for
lot.
things like weapons charges, assault, robbery, etc.
So these aren't like, I ran a red light too many times.
No, a little different. So he was also known to run in the same circles as Christa. Now, the original detectives had heard Tony's name mentioned a few times from different people during the course of their investigation. And they learned that Tony had been sent to check in on Christa's roommate Stephanie after the murder, when Stephanie got home or however it happened. So Stephanie had gotten some freaky phone calls, like right after the murder, with people just breathing on the other end of the line. Or one guy called and asked her if she wanted to party and told her that he was right down the street.
Ew.
Now, Stephanie said, yeah, Tony came to check on me, like a group of friends or somebody sent him to check on me. And when he did check on me, he spent some time in Christa's room. And he left with some of Christa's tapes and other items of clothing, including some really nice furs that she loved. So now we know that Christa kept a diary of her sexual encounters. But it was at this point in the investigation that the original detectives working this case learned that Christa also had audio tapes of a lot of these encounters.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, they were able to obtain some of these tapes and realized that she had definitely been with very prominent people at the time. And they were now even more convinced that the records of her experiences were definitely a motivation for someone to silence her.
Oh, damn. And just the fact that this person left with tapes.
Right. Left with tapes and left with
furs?
furs. Like, left with her shit.
Huh.
It's like, why are you in a dead woman's room?
I don't love that.
Neither did Brandon
even
Bergen
like
Harris. I feel some type of way
Yeah.
about it. So Brandon Bergen Harris learned that Tony Sirico had this connection to the case. They said, hey, we'd love to sit down and talk to you. So they said, you're not a suspect, but just someone whose name has come up in the investigation, and we have some questions we'd love for you to answer. And he told them he actually didn't really know Christa that well. Didn't really know her.
But you know her well enough to have those audio tapes and take some of her furs out of her room?
Yeah, definitely. And they were like, okay, let's see if we can jog your memory. She was stabbed 23 times in the middle of the street and you were sent to look after her roommate. So that jogged his memory a little bit. And he was like, oh, yes, okay, her, gotcha.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah.
But he told them he'd never been to her apartment or ever even met her roommate. And he definitely knew who she was, but that was it.
I don't know about that.
I know who she is. I know the girl. Never been to her apartment, never taken any of her things. That's it.
Huh.
Don't even know her roommate.
Okay.
It's like, why would her roommate just make up that Tony Sirico came into that? Like, what?
That would be the weirdest shit to make up.
And she's like, dude, I was away for the weekend. Like, I
Yeah.
have nothing to do with this.
Like, what?
What the fuck difference does it make to me if you came or you didn't?
That's the thing. It's like, that would be just a weird thing to lie about.
It would.
But
I
it
mean,
makes sense that you would lie about being there.
Exactly. It makes more sense about somebody lying about being there than
Lying about you being there.
Right, exactly. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when the questions started getting more into where he was that day and if he remembered what he was doing the night that Christa was murdered, his attorneys abruptly stopped the meeting and said that he's not answering any more of your questions.
Huh.
So the detectives have still maintained that he's not a suspect, but they just wish that they could have gotten a little more information from him.
That's the thing. It's like, he might not be a suspect. He might have absolutely nothing to do with this.
But he might know
Just say what you
something.
know.
Right.
That's all.
And they were like, as soon as it got into like, what were you doing and where were you? They were like, nope, we're done.
No,
Which
see,
it
come
looks
on.
shady.
It does.
I'm not saying he did this,
by no
obviously,
means.
but it looks shady.
It definitely doesn't look great when you do that. And I understand, like, lawyers will shut these things down sometimes to, like, just make sure that nothing gets shady and
Of
crazy.
course. And I understand that he's a public figure and like a prominent
Yeah.
person, so this could get messy, and maybe that's why he didn't want to get involved.
But, like, just give what you know.
And also somebody died, so
Yeah. Just
maybe
be a
think
little
about
more
that.
forthcoming if you have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So that was that for Tony.
Whoa.
Now, the next name that came up in the investigation was Rudy Mazzella. Rudy Mazzella was known to throw a lot of parties that Christa was always in attendance at. He was a pretty big-time drug dealer with a bad reputation for being like a very violent man.
Cool.
Literally any woman who was with him, including his ex-wife, was absolutely terrified of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
hate this.
So that in the original investigation, Rudy was spoken to numerous times because word on the street was he was going around and telling people he was the one who murdered Christa.
Oh.
Yeah. Good, right?
Oh, okay. So he's very, very violent.
And he's saying
And
he
he's
killed her.
literally walking around saying he did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the main rumor was that she was helping him sell a good amount of cocaine and that he found out she had dipped into the stash and he was pissed about it.
Jeez.
So the police in the original investigation, I guess they just didn't have enough evidence to keep him. And when they went to speak with his roommate, Blair Aronson, Blair confirmed Rudy's alibi that he had been home the entire night Christa was killed and hadn't gone anywhere. So when the new detectives tried to track Rudy down to talk to him, they found out he was dead.
Whoa.
He died.
He died.
He died.
He just up and died.
So they don't have enough evidence to say that he killed Christa, but Detective Harris said that he would have been, quote, very capable of killing Christa Helm in the way she was killed.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look like a bad suspect
Doesn't
there.
look like a bad suspect at all. He was literally running around telling people he did it.
It just sucks that it's like,
We don't know because
we
he
don't
died.
know.
Exactly.
Wow.
This case gets so much more frustrating with every person that
It
they
really
try to track
does.
down. And remember, it's still a cold case, so
Yeah.
don't get super
so
stoked.
unfortunately, we're not going to have an answer at the end.
Exactly. So the last group of people that were of interest to the new investigators on the case were directly related to Blair Aronson, Rudy's roommate.
Okay.
Now, it turned out right before Christa died, she was actually recording a disco album. And, you know, the acting was starting to die down. She was kind of hoping this would be her chance to.
Okay, let's have some real talk, just one-on-one for a second. I know you know this feeling. You start your period and the only pad that you have available is uncomfortable. It's like crunchy and weird. We can literally start our car from our phones, but we're still settling for crunchy, uncomfortable pads. Girl, listen, when you're looking for softness and protection, Kotex has you covered. They are changing the game with a completely redesigned lineup of pads and liners that are designed around what women actually want, like Kotex Bamboo. Kotex Bamboo has a 100% bamboo-derived viscose top layer that provides ultra-soft protection, which means you don't have to worry about feeling itchy or uncomfortable. It's like the worst feeling ever. It's gentle on the skin and it's made without fragrance too. Check out Kotex.com for more details on the new and exciting launch of Kotex Bamboo, available in regular, heavy, overnight, and daily liners. Every flow covered. Now available at retailers nationwide.
Finally achieve like actual stardom. So the group she joined had Blair Aronson, his sometimes girlfriend, though it's debated whether or not if they actually dated. Like, some people say yes, some people say no. One of them says yes, the other says no. Cool. We'll get into it. Her name was Debbie Danilo. And another woman named Patty Collins. So they were all working together to do a disco album.
Amazing.
Their producer was Frankie Crocker, a DJ at the time, and also rumored to be somebody that Christa was casually dating.
Okay.
Patty Collins and Christa were also casually dating and involved in a sexual relationship together, which was confirmed by some of the tapes found in Christa's apartment.
Oh, okay.
So the way that like people described it was that she didn't consider herself a lesbian or bisexual, but sometimes she would have sexual encounters with women.
Okay.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
So there was a specific tape actually in which Christa and Patty were having relations with another man.
Okay.
A threesome, if you will.
If you will.
If you will.
A menage a trois.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know how to spell it.
That's amazing.
So, the new investigators on the case wouldn't say who this man was, but apparently he's very famous. And if it came out that it was him on the tape, it could be, quote unquote, damaging to his career. So they didn't feel like it was fair.
Come on.
There are rumors about who it is. I'm not going to say it on this podcast because I'm not an asshole, but I will tell you afterwards when the recording is done.
And you can probably Google, I imagine, and find it somewhere.
Definitely Google the rumors and basically get your answer. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I want to know.
If you look hard enough, you'll find it. Maybe I already told you where you could. So he told the investigators that during this encounter, this like unnamed man, this very fucking
prominent,
thank you,
well known.
I'm just picturing like Mr. Sheffield from fucking The Nanny.
That's who it's
Maxwell
it's Mr.
Sheffield. I just said Sheffield. So he told the investigators that during this encounter, we'll call it, with Christa and Patty, that it was very, very evident that Patty was jealous and angry watching Christa be involved with him.
Okay.
She didn't like it at all.
Okay.
So when the new investigators were able to reach Debbie Danilo, she confirmed that Patty was extremely jealous of anybody that Christa was with.
Oh.
She didn't want Christa to be with men, and she really wanted her to all to herself.
Yeah.
So Debbie said that Christa expressed interest in her, actually. Like, Christa said something to her, like, you're cute or whatever. And that she wasn't interested. But when Patty found out, she would just stare at Debbie with these, like, intense daggers of, like, I will fuck you up if you try anything.
Oh, damn.
Now, apparently, in the last days of Christa's life, she had Patty taken off the recording that they were all doing together.
Oh.
Patty was livid about that. And livid that Christa just didn't want to be with her. Now, the interesting thing about that, and the reason the new investigators took specific note of that, is because in the latest investigation, they were able to test DNA that was found underneath Christa's fingernails. The DNA profile was determined to be that of a woman underneath her fingernails.
And
people had heard women voices.
Ooh.
And this woman is wicked jealous.
And this is a rage killing, if I've ever heard of one.
And we're not even hearing this from like one man that like, you know, like we had a sexual encounter and she was super jealous. We're hearing this from multiple people.
Oh.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
It is. Now, that does not mean necessarily that Christa was murdered by a woman, because that DNA could have come from like the party that she was at. Maybe she would have to graze her nails along a woman's skin.
Yeah.
Basically, like hard enough, but not as hard as you think.
But not hard, like you have to break skin or something like that.
Yeah, you don't have to break skin. So she could have hugged somebody goodbye and that could have gotten under her nails.
Gripped somebody's arm or something like that and somehow just... Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that she was murdered by a woman, but
it's just an interesting note.
Exactly. And, you know, it doesn't mean that she didn't get murdered by a woman. So, because the other thing is that absolutely could have come from fighting off a woman attacker. She did put up quite a fight. There were tons of defensive wounds all over her hands.
And someone heard 2 women.
Thank you. That was my next note.
See?
So Debbie Danilo agreed to submit her DNA. She was like, I have nothing to fucking do with this. Go ahead and take it. Now, she wasn't necessarily a suspect, but it was helpful to rule her out at the very least.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because Blair Aronson told the original investigators on the case an interesting story. He said that the night before Christa was killed, he actually had a sexual relationship with her, and that at the time he was dating Debbie. And he said, as he and Christa were wrapping up, shall we say, they saw someone peeking in the windows. And when they looked closer, they realized it was Debbie, and she was just waving at them. Like, caught ya, motherfuckers.
Oh, shit.
Now, Debbie denies not only this story, but the fact that she was ever dating Blair. So this is literally like the biggest game of he said, she said.
Wow.
She did, however, say the day after Christa was killed, she put on a wig and a disguise and got the fuck out of Hollywood.
Okay.
She offered up that information. A very eccentric woman.
Okay.
Strange to some, but she said she was worried that whoever had killed Christa did so because Christa knew too much, and that if the person responsible for the murder knew Christa and Debbie were friends, they might assume that Debbie knew too much. So she was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I mean, okay.
When her DNA was tested against the DNA found under Christa's fingernails, it was not a match.
I had a feeling it wasn't going to be.
It did not match. So
Yeah.
we don't think it was her.
No.
Now, detectives Brandenburg and Harris thought, hopefully we'll be able to track down this Patty Collins lady and test her DNA against the profile.
Let me guess. She fucking vanished.
So they found a woman in Montana who they believed was the Patty Collins.
Stop it.
And it's debated whether or not it was the Patty Collins,
God.
because this woman, Patty, said that she had never lived in LA and she didn't know anybody named Christa, yada, yada, yada. Her sister was like, she literally lived in LA.
What?
And one night she called our parents and said she was in trouble and she needed them to pick her up, and she literally never went back there again.
Oh my God.
Was it Patty? We don't know.
That doesn't make sense. Why would her sister say that?
Why would her sister say that?
And it makes sense that she would run away to Montana or something like that and be like,
course it
I don't know
does.
anything about that. I've never been there. Who are you?
Exactly.
Who's Patty Collins? Who's Christa?
that?
I don't
I'm
get
leaving.
it. That to me makes a lot. Whoa.
So,
Whoa.
DNA,
Not
a match.
God damn it.
not a match. And they don't have anything.
Oh,
And
man.
they tracked down that woman. They were like, is this the Patty Collins? So then they continued to try to track down any other kind of Patty Collins, and they've been unsuccessful.
Yeah, because that was the Patty Collins. Regardless.
fucking Patty.
Regardless of whether she's a suspect or not, like, that is Patty Collins.
I'm sorry, yes.
That
thank
is
you.
her.
Like, you heard it here first.
I'm
That's
here
Patty.
to say verifiably that is Patty Collins.
Patty, I see you, and I know you.
Yeah, that's her.
So could it be that Patty had something to do with Christa's death? Probably.
Wow.
For me, at least, and like I'm, whatever, like who am I? But she's the best suspect, in my opinion.
That's a good suspect.
She's a good suspect, and out of the lineup, I would say she's the best.
Yeah, I'd say, the guy who died.
Yeah, Rudy also.
Rudy. Yeah,
Rudy great
is a
suspect.
great suspect, but there's a lot of people that I'm like, how many people were people working together here? What was going on?
Well,
It
that's
seemed
the
like there
other
was a
thing.
whole shady gang of people.
And they said that too. It was like Christa had, encounters with all these famous Mick Jagger, George Hamilton, all these like the Shah of fucking Iran, like amazing, like prominent people. But she also hung out with really seedy characters who could have conspired something against her.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like she was surrounded by great people all the time.
Nope, exactly. Now, Larry Gansey, the original lead detective on the case, just to throw you for one last fucking plot hole, he helped the new investigators, and he gave them all of his information. Now, he believes and said that he would put up the deed for his house to bet that Sal's killer, Lionel Williams, is the same guy who killed Christa.
Really?
Because it turns out he wasn't in prison the night that Christa was killed. And he was released for the murder of Sal Mineo in 1990 after 12 years in prison. But it doesn't appear that he's been interviewed in connection with Christa's death. But Larry Gansey said he would put the deed up to his house to say that this was the guy responsible.
Do it.
Yeah. Do it.
Do it. You won't.
He was like 83 10 years ago, so I don't know
If that's possible now.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Wow.
So after 45 years, there's still no answer as to who killed Christa. Her case is still cold. The detectives who reopened the case are now retired.
Oh my gosh.
And to this day, her diary has never been found.
Oh, that's killing me.
But her daughter Nicole says she believes the person who killed her mom is still out there and that one day there will be closure as to who killed her mom. And just to end this on like a quote about Christa that is from Nicole, she said, quote, "She had a warmth that made people draw to her on a regular basis. She was powerful and strong and took no bull. She was a very complicated, beautiful human being."
Oh, what a nice thing to say.
I know.
About your mom.
I know. And it's just like, it's so Hollywood to me, like a very beautiful, very complicated
That
human
honestly,
being.
that's so Hollywood.
Right?
Yeah.
So that
Wow.
is the murder of Christa Helm with no great outcome.
But so many avenues with which to run down.
So many avenues that you're like, what the fuck were you doing?
Something's gotta be.
And Nicole was like super frustrated with the original investigators
Yeah,
on this
of
case.
course.
It seemed like a, well, another Hollywood girl's dead, so okay.
It
We'll
seems like
investigate
an
that.
old school LAPD
moment.
investigation. It sounds like
Exactly.
And then they tried to get it going again.
Yeah, but
Man.
it was just too many people died, too many people disappeared. I mean, they have the DNA that's underneath her fingernails, but then they're like, that could have come from the party she was at earlier.
Yeah, it could
Like,
be anything.
sucks.
As time goes by, it's just harder and harder. But I have faith that they can find who did this.
I think so too. I think like assign some more people to it now.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Man,
So,
that was
yeah.
nuts.
Well, we hope that you keep listening.
And we
Here's a quick podcast for all you true crime fans. The case of the missing Reeses. It was me at the store with my mouth. Motive? They're Reeses. What was I gonna do? Stop myself? Tune in next time to see if I do it again. Spoiler, I will. Wow, that had everything. Reeses, suspense, Reeses.
hope you
Keep
it.
weird, but not so weird that like you. I don't even know.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo pre-filled syringe, which contains efgartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VyvgartMyWay.com. That's VYVGART MyWay.com. And talk to your doctor about Vyvgart Hytrulo. Brought to you by Argenix.
You've tried melatonin, the white noise machine, the blackout curtains, the magnesium, and you're sleeping fine. Not great, just fine. At some point, you have to consider the 4-year-old pillow is doing more damage than the magnesium is fixing. Coop Sleep Goods is running a bundle sale July 9th through the 20th. The starter bundle is the move. 2 pillows plus a sheet set, 40% off. And we're not saying it'll fix everything. We're just saying you've tried everything else. Coop's pillows are adjustable, designed to fit how you sleep, not just tolerate it. Mix and match any 2 pillows at 25% off or go all in on the starter bundle. One real upgrade beats 6 mediocre ones. Head to coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy for 40% off the starter bundle and 25% off all other bundles.